Hey Peaches, welcome to Peaches by Starlight Tarot. I'm Eleanor and ready to do your pick a card reading about burnout. This tarot reading will look at why you are burnt out, what you need to watch out for or focus on, and then how you can renew your energy, most importantly. But first, let's see who won a free personal version of the Power Couple Love reading. I'm going to pick a card. Ooh, that's it right there. The Seven of Cups. Okay. So, okay, there we go. Sorry. Still figuring out this camera. So, if you guessed the Seven of Cups in the Power Couple Love reading video, you won. The video is linked below, and I'll respond to your comment if you won. If you want to win or try to win a personal version of this reading on burnout, comment any 2 tarot cards below and stay tuned by subscribing and hitting the notification bell, because I will pull a card from this deck at the beginning of the next video and you won't want to miss it to see if you won. So let's get started. I've already meditated and pre-shuffled, and you can go ahead and follow the timestamp to skip this part if it's not your thing. So for stack 1, why is this person burnt out? What do they need to watch out for, focus on, pay attention to? I just make sure it wasn't upside down myself. And then how can they renew their energy? Okay. Stack 2, why is this person burnt out or feeling burnt out? What do they need to focus on, pay attention to, and how can they renew their energy? Okay, and stack 3. Why is this person burnt out? What do they need to look out for, pay attention to, or focus on? And how can they renew their energy? Get a second wind. Okay, and then I'm going to pull a card each from the power deck. Okay, so I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. All right, stack 1. Let's get a power card. Let's see, which way does it go? This way. All right, stack 2 and stack 3. Okay, let's get these straightened up and turned around so you can pick. Oh, one more thing. Stone, stone, stone. Okay. All right, here are your 3 stacks. This is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. The timestamps should be appearing right now, and they're also in the description, so you can skip right to the one that is speaking to you, and you can choose more than one. I'll be quiet just for a minute. Okay, let's dive into stack 1. You have Temperance, 6 of Cups, 7 of Swords, and Imagination. Okay, I've read that over. So this is an energy of incomplete or faulty information, and this includes flawed assumptions and attempts to use mental acrobatics to fill in gaps of unknown without facts. So it appears sometimes as not being honest with oneself, and I see that indicated here. A lot of distractions and busyness in order to avoid something, sitting with or being present with yourself for some reason. It can be putting on a happy face, like wearing a little bit of a mask over what you're going through. But what I'm really seeing is you trying really hard to gather enough information to figure something out, and there's too much to sort through. A lot of it is conflicting, and it's overwhelming and unhelpful. I sense you might be getting tension headaches from this, from torturing data that just never feels masterable. In the Imagination card, there's a bit about being pregnant, not saying you're pregnant, but it's a metaphor about when a pregnant woman just goes about her daily tasks. She doesn't, let's see, how can I put it? You don't have to know, a woman doesn't have to know how to stitch together neurons or grow heart cells or develop bones and marrow, right? That all takes care of itself. That's not to say a mother doesn't have a job, which is to take care of herself. It's like you have a goal or something that you're trying to learn or manifest, and you want to understand every step from A to Z beforehand, like in intricate detail. And because, manifestation is more than vision boards and intentions, it does include actions and some work. That does not mean you have to have a 3D topographical map of the whole thing. This dude is afraid to take a risk and choose one of these doors. And he thinks that with enough research, the answer will reveal itself. And I see just going cross-eyed at this point. And I want to point out this lion and this sunflower. And there's a message about that. It's instinct. It's a reference to instinct. So, because the thing about information, especially now, is that you can find anything that you're looking for to support or refute any position, especially online. So for what to pay attention to, this goes hand in hand with this imagination card. It's focusing, I feel like focusing on endless facts has gotten too confusing. So try less calculating and more mind wandering or memory lane wandering. Instead of looking for these concrete pieces of evidence, be on the lookout for where you see kindness or small joys, things that feel uplifting to you. This is a very innocent and childlike energy. And with the Seven of Swords, here, I'm going to tell you what this reminds me of. Do you remember being a kid and looking to adults and thinking they know everything? And that someday, maybe like after you're finished with school or something, you'll know everything too. And slowly as you age, it begins to dawn on you that like omniscience just never comes. And if anything, it feels like you know less and less. And this may speak to this burnout. Because the more you know, the more you're aware of what you don't know. And if you chase that, it could get actually worse. So you can stop the cycle by peering into the unknown somewhere, accepting that there will always be unknown somewhere in life. And maybe you're not meant to fill those holes with a right or wrong answer. Like, do you remember when, like, there were times in school where, or the teacher didn't want you, it wasn't an answer, they just wanted you to draw a picture, and the only way to fail was to leave it blank, or in my son's case, not turn it in. Or, like, remember Star Trek 4, the one with the whales, and it's like at the beginning, Spock has just come back, and he's looking at all those screens, and just nailing it with all of his scientific and factual knowledge, and then the computer asks, how do you feel? And he's just like, he's frozen. He's like, I don't understand the question. I'm getting that with these two right here. So how you can renew your energy, because that's what we all really want to know, right? In this Chrysalis tarot deck specifically, the Temperance card calls on you to meditate, and so does this Imagination card. It beckons you to contemplation. So not to calculate with all your facts and info, but to tap into this, the endless memory and experience gathered in the collective unconscious. And the Six of Cups is a card of memories, by the way, if I didn't mention it. But more intuitively, I'm drawn back to the developing baby reference and how you don't have to know how it happens for it to happen. The energy of Temperance is of alchemy and co-creation. So you do your part and let the universe do the rest. So how can you recapture some of that trust you had for adults as a kid and apply it to source, or however you identify, super conscious, higher power? So like I was saying, and actually Dr. Leo Marvin says in What About Bob, you don't have to know how to get from A to Z. You have to know how to get from A to B. So what happens when you take your mental energy back from B to Z? And then as you do calculate A to B, where there are unknowns, can you allow that to be the magic part that you don't understand, because you don't have to? Like I said, co-creating. Meaning you don't have to do it all. Identify your role like the pregnant mother would. And this is a metaphor, once again. It's her role to take care of herself, nourish herself, protect herself from toxins, and then let nature do what it does. Now, maybe in your situation, you do have to personally take all the actions, but where you can't come up with a perfect answer, can you consult your intuition? This is where I wanted to, this is what I was thinking about with this line, and also the sunflower. There's your intuition, your feelings, your gut instinct. Trust that and consult that. I want to say that you need to turn off your screens. And if you do leave a screen on, put on like a movie that you loved as a kid, maybe a musical, or go play outside or take a nap. Whatever you do have to come back to this situation, because I don't feel like it's going to go away, but you're coming back to a simpler assignment. Just A to B. Co-create the solution. Co-create, not all you. There is part of the mystery that does it, that unfolds it on its own. And I also want to mention about the Seven of Swords and all this information that might be coming in. I've been seeing, for some reason, videos about how you can just copy and paste content. Buy an ebook and resell it. And you can buy articles and resell them. I didn't click on it, but I see where people are just like downloading videos and re-uploading them and sell them. So there's like a hall of mirrors where all this content is being recycled. And like sometimes if you search for, you ask Google a question and the first 4 or 5 articles are from different places, but they're eerily similar. And so I don't feel like you may have to abandon that way of doing your research and trust something else in yourself. Okay. So I really hope that helps. I hope that you can feel a little bit less burnt out when you go just from A to B instead of A to Z. Okay. And I will talk to you probably in a week. Thank you. All right. Let's take a look at stack 2. You have the 5 of spirals. That's like the 5 of wands. You have the illusionist, the Knight of Stones. That's like the Knight of Pentacles. And then you have the minstrel, King of Stones. That's like the King of Pentacles. And then this says masculine. Yep, there we go. So let me read over this really quick. I'm not going to read it all word for word. It's not my content, so I'll just get the basic idea. All right, so why you might be burnt out, or why you might be feeling burnt out. This feels like breadwinner energy. No matter what gender you identify as, you may have found yourself having to take on that historically masculine role, however outdated it is to call it that, of provider. Maybe you're a single parent, maybe you're having to take care of an aging parent or sibling. You're doing a killer job, by the way, bravo on that, but I'm seeing that being high functioning in this capacity is taking it out of you. It's creating imbalance, and everything seems to be about the grind. It's like there's a main hustle plus maybe a side hustle. You clearly know what you're doing. It's just that it's all that you're doing. And there's a lot of pressure to keep doing it. Like people are counting on you. And the reason you've stumbled into that role is because of the assertive aspect to your personality that expressed itself in a healthy way at some point. You are extremely loyal and don't want to let anyone down. Being so good at what you do in the physical world has been rewarding and added positively to your identity, I'm seeing. But I sense you're wanting more in the less is more sense. So not like more money, but some simplicity somehow. Like having more of literally any other possible definition of wealth besides money. Wisdom, love, peace, artistic expression, connection, and all that good stuff. But that grind just always seems to come first. And have you had to close off some of your more purpose-driven inclinations? Because if you gave them any energy, your dissatisfaction would make it too difficult to live up to your responsibilities. So it's almost like closing off rooms of the house because it costs too much to heat or cool them. Only like in your mind, compartmentalizing. I've been there, man. I get it. Trust. Okay, it's exactly what I've been through in the last year or so. But I'm seeing that what may have originated as a survival mechanism has actually caused the burnout. And I'll explain that in a bit. So what you need to watch out for or focus on. The word I'm getting here is process. And they say the Knight of Pentacles is a slow and steady wins the race type, but as the illusionist, it adds that element of the only 100% guarantee of failure is to not try. So watch out for all or nothing thinking. You can take baby steps. Find small ways to integrate whatever that more purposeful call is into your process. And by process, maybe I mean the details of your routine, like embedded in the physical administration of your life, like the cooking, your commute, your health choices, bill paying, cleaning, shopping, right? Look for spaces to embed meaning, meditation, anything that raises your consciousness. It can be something as small as adding music to your routine, pulling a daily card for yourself, journaling after you brush your teeth. Look for those opportunities to combine that assertiveness with receptivity. And that kind of comes from this card over here. So I'm just like blending it into the message without actually reading the paragraph. If you're ignoring a call to something like a higher knowledge or a more integrated way of living because of this sort of A, all work and no play thing, or B, because it's breeding dissatisfaction and you'd rather just turn it off. Remember, it's not either or. You can start planting the seeds anytime and nurture them a little bit every day. It doesn't have to be one big irresponsible leap. All right, how to renew your energy, what you really came here for, right? I'm hearing the word friction, and not like between people, but in the heat-producing sense, like, you know, rubbing sticks together. There is some, I feel, some resentment building up, contributing to the burnout, making it worse. And I see you needing like a physical yang-like outlet, martial arts, dance, running, biking, that really the active yoga, repetitive yoga styles like Kundalini, or what's the hot one, Bikram. So to go from burnt out to burning off, right? The King and the Knight of Pentacles feel heavy to me, laden. They're armored in the traditional tarot. It feels cumbersome, and like that's what needs to be thrown on the fire and danced around. You may need to feel the sun on your skin or work up a sweat somehow. So I work in a warehouse, and once in a while the dock door will open, and then the sun on my face feels oddly thirst quenching. Like it's giving me more than light and warmth. It's nourishing me beyond that somehow, like a drink of water does. Maybe it's the vitamin D, I don't know. Anyway, there's pressure building in your shadow, okay? All of these needs not seeing the light of day, it is calling for a healthy physical discharge of this energy through heat or vigorous activity, perhaps, I don't know, great sex or sauna. Maybe go to the edge of a body of water and let out a primal scream, but channel it constructively before it just explodes chaotically or catastrophically and creates some kind of destruction. All right, I hope that helps, and I will talk to you in the next reading. Thank you. Okay, let's check out stack 3. You have the 7 of Mirrors, the 7 of Stones, the Sorceress, High Priestess, and Courage. Let me read this over really quick and get the gist of it. Okay, it's talking about like boundaries and unhealthy coping mechanisms. Okay, so why you are burnt out. I'm seeing that you may be empathic or highly sensitive, and you may be taking on too much stimulation or like absorbing too much of the energy from others. Like you may not actually be burnt out, but you're feeling someone else's burnout. And this courage may be around having to set some boundaries or address the issue head on, rather than like adding to it with unhealthy coping mechanisms that you use to like block some of that out, dull your senses, or because of that input overload. So you shouldn't have to do things that aren't good for you or numb yourself because of outside energy. But you may not have found your power around protecting yourself that could stem from like some fears around approval or failure, or that overload could even be something that you're bringing on through like social media dependence or too much like coffee or sugar. Or like you may even be a reader yourself with too many appointments. Like, so if this sounds more like devil energy than high priestess energy, it's because of this this courage card here. It's too long to read, and I don't know if I'm allowed to. So either way, you're taking in way too much input for your sensitivity level, and I believe a portion of that energy is of the people around you more so than your own. It's like an overloaded circuit or fuse getting ready to blow. Whether this is because of spiritual gifts or you are one of those, some people are just deep processors of information. Like you don't just hear words, but you're processing the tone and the facial expression, the body language, and the why behind the choice of certain wording over others. Your finely calibrated senses are worn out, is what I'm getting with that. So what you need to focus on, pay attention to, watch out for, pay attention to your physical environment. Maybe like a food sensitivity or a skin sensitivity, like ways to test that. A review of, like, check out your playlist for too much dissonance or sounds that no longer resonate. Like, I have songs on my playlist that they were like my jam in high school, and that's why I have them, because they're sentimental, but they rub me the wrong way right now. So whenever they, like, I was like, oh, I have to have that song, I remember, and I put it in my playlist, and then every time it comes on, I skip it because it just rubs me the wrong way now. So there it is right there. What's rubbing you the wrong way? What in your surroundings? Who is rubbing you the wrong way? What have you like bought recently that you don't like, but you just got it so you don't want to waste it and get rid of it? What clothes don't fit right and affect your energy? And what I mean by like affecting your energy with like clothes not fitting, it's like if you add up every tiny unnoticeable expenditure that you use to like adjust a strap, pull up a waistband, untwist something, you know, that part of your waist, your shirt below the hem that keeps flipping up, and you always have to flip that down, or a collar or lapel that's just not sewn right. Add up every little tug or adjustment and see if it isn't actually pretty significant in a lump sum. So if you're like you're afraid of waste, I'd be more afraid of the wasted energy than the offending items, personally. So it's like you spent that money once and it's done, but the energy of the discomfort continues. And I'm saying that like it could be specifically for some of you, but like as a metaphor. What can you apply that to as a metaphor? Because yes, I'm talking about clothes, but that's just as a for instance. Watch out for identifying with objects, like a car that got you through a rough time, but it's causing you more inconvenience now as it gets older and harder to maintain. It's not a person. And if it were sentient, like the giving tree, maybe it can continue to serve you in the form of cash. What other things in your environment are you attached to that are adding to the overstimulation? Clutter has been scientifically proven to have a huge effect on our stress levels. Even background noises, like that you don't even consciously hear anymore. So yeah, check your environment for that kind of stuff. Too much stuff, too much sensory overload. Okay, so how to recover your energy. This is sort of a continuation of that Seven of Pentacles energy, discerning what is real versus what is fake, discerning what is your energy versus someone else's. And then after doing that, summoning the courage to take action. Okay, Seven of Pentacles is more like the assessment part, and this is more of the taking action on the result of that assessment with that courage. The Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles paired, it feels like literally having sorting bins for like, keep, trash, donate. Go through your Facebook. How many of the people do you know? Like seen in the flesh, had a conversation with face to face. Or if not, that you actually exchange one-on-one communication with. Have the courage to thin out the ones that you accepted their requests because you have mutuals. but you're not even sure who they are. Have you gotten those requests and you're like, I don't really know you, but we know about the same people, so maybe I just can't remember you, so I'll accept it? Don't be afraid. They probably won't notice. But you may notice your energy returning when you set boundaries with the energy vampire types. That's them just picking up that there's some energy vampires around you. If you reduce your caffeine, you may feel like crap at first, but in time, the energy that comes back will be real. So we're talking about this kind of fake versus real. It's like out with the fake. That's all I can say. And the filler in your life is taking so much more from you than it's providing. I promise. You just have to be brave enough to find out. So I really, really hope that doing some of that clearing and figuring out what's excess, what's real, what's not, and moving it out and reducing some of that overload, that stimulation overload, helps you regain some of your energy and setting some boundaries too, okay? I look forward to talking to you in the next reading. Thank you very much.